my eyes. The words you said to me are stuck in my mind.
Hey everyone, welcome to the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Today's guest is an indie pop duo based in Alabama. They've got an album out right now called Introducing Gold Star, which came out in August of 2020. It was even mastered by previous On That Note guest, Rubber Band Gun. Before we start the episode, please make sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And on that note, please welcome Gold Star. So we got Adam Miller and Adam Obermeyer here from Gold Star, who released your debut album in August of 2020. I found out about you guys through the fans also like Spotify page for Rubber Band Gun, Kevin Basco, who I also learned mastered this album, which is really cool. He seems to have a hand in a lot of things around here. I also read that you recorded this whole thing in mono, and I wanted to ask you just specifically for my own, music recording nerd mind, how was it recording a whole album in mono? Was there a different process that you had to get familiar with compared to recording something in stereo?
It almost in a way is kind of easier, like once you've already kind of struck the idea of working in stereo and then you're just thinking of things from a mono perspective. It's yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just like a shift in headspace, really. Like I wouldn't say one is really harder than the other. But yeah, I mean, we wanted to do it just because, that's just how they focused. Like when the Beatles and the Beach Boys and Phil Spector and all of that stuff from the 60s, I mean, they were focusing on the mono mixing for, primarily for a long time. Like, I don't think the Beatles even were present for like stereo mixing sessions, like until really late in the game. So yeah, it was kind of just like that idea of just like, you know, just trying to get, back to mono, as they say, and you know, try and just work within that framework.
Yeah, and I really enjoy a lot of mixing on my own in the past is focused a lot on panning and trying to find like a good like geometry of everything, and going to mono where there's only one lane, it really makes you reconsider how things fit together and give each other space. You kind of like, where normally you could just separate a guitar or piano, just L and R, you have to now think about certain frequencies and like kind of pan through like EQing them to sit in different like registers. And it's just, I think the experience of mono is like when you hear it in headphones, just like directionally, like it feels to have like more kind of like a push through time, because you're not like thinking in two dimensions, like you're literally taking away like the x axis or whatever, so it's just like the y, so you kind of like focus more in on just tunneling through time rather than kind of like being like put in a space.
I would think it would present some interesting challenges trying to make everything fit in the mix correctly. Because I know when I'm working on my own mixes, and I've heard, check your mix in mono to make sure that it sounds good there, because then it'll really sound good in stereo. And I'll put it in mono and I'll be like, Jesus Christ, this sounds like a nightmare. Like, where did the bass go all of a sudden? So were there any moments where you guys were just like, this is, you know, this might be too much of a task to handle right now?
I don't know if it was ever like too much of a task, but there are like, we recorded the record in like different phases of, like we were just kind of, we recorded it with our friend Viv McCall, who, helped us produce the record. And she was just like acquiring equipment like throughout the process. But I say that because the first few songs we recorded, we just did on a 4-track, and I'm pretty sure we were doing bouncing on the 4-track, I want to say, or we were just bouncing like 2 digital. And so we were like, but we were like committing to where things sat in the mix like very early on,
like the generations of the bounces. So
Yeah. And and kind of like at points uh just to our detriment, because it's like you just commit to where things sit in the mix. And I think we even like recorded over a lot of the stuff on tape, and so we just didn't even have the option to go back and remix some stuff. So that's like, I guess that's more of like a tape based thing than like a mono thing, but it is yeah, it is hard whenever you're trying to space stuff out in that way. I don't know.
I would definitely think recording to tape would also bring its own challenges, having to, not be able to go back and redo something unless it's like absolutely dire and necessary.
For sure.
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah,
sometimes those dire and necessary things are just there still.
yeah. Um yeah, and we have definitely just straight up taped over stuff and like, just made like big mistakes where it's like, oh fuck, dude, like um yeah, and then you just kind of have to roll with it, and just figure out a way to, you know, I don't know. Yeah, you just kind of have to just live with what happens, and uh, yeah, and it just kind of comes about in that way.
It's a good life lesson too, Hey, sometimes you can't just fix your mistakes. You just have to move on and, figure it out.
I've learned that time and time again.
I've yet to learn that lesson.
Yeah, one day.
I'm naive.
Yeah.
One day we'll all figure it out. And when I was reading about this album, I saw that you guys had said that you basically have split pretty much the entirety of the creation of this album between, like, you didn't have a set rule, like this guy does this guy does that. Was that helpful to have somebody to kind of not rely on, but be like, oh, if I don't do this, at least somebody else can have a new perspective on it?
Yeah, I'd never worked like that before. It was either like in a larger group collaboratively with, like a full band or just on my own. And yeah, I guess it was kind of, dreamt of fitting for the project of, a lot of those classic songs that we like from that era of radio pop, or like classic songwriting teams, like the hit factory makers, just like two people just working on a song.
Brill building folks,
And so yeah, so I'd never worked like that, and it seemed pretty easy. Just kind of like come with like 3/4 of a song, have it finished with someone else, and then kind of just like see what they think should be done to it. It's a pretty easy way to work, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely felt like yeah, it was very easy and very helpful to have to be working with Adam and then also Viv. It just seemed like between us, there was just always an idea of where to take things. And yeah, it kind of was like, if I played the guitar on something or if Adam was playing piano, whoever's playing the instrument has the general idea, but we are kind of all working like through each other, like there's a lot of like editorializing of each other's parts. So it is very much like yeah, just like a full-on collaborative process throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, as soon as you like bring the song to the other person, any sense of authorship is like gone. It's now like collective, you know.
Do you guys get that feeling when you show somebody a song for the first time that you're almost hearing it differently just because there's somebody else in the room?
Um, Maybe, yeah. I've never thought about that. Yeah, I think that probably happens with everything. It's kind of like the Schrodinger's cat thing.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if I ever even like, I don't know, I probably just shoot off text messages, and I don't know if I ever subject my friends to just sitting in a circle and listening to the new song, because that's usually like a somewhat uncomfortable experience.
It can be.
Yeah, it's like, we kind of just get the song done, and it's like, I'll enjoy it in my own space. And then it's like after that, it's like, okay, I can't really, go back to this or think about how it's being perceived, or, because it just stresses me out.
I like to do if you got a new song and you want a homie to hear, you like kind of just get like have a night where you're both getting like really drunk or stoned, and then like unleash it at like 1 a.m. That's
Right.
a good move. That's always fun.
While they're almost comatose, and then all of a sudden they wake up. They're like, "What? You
Yeah.
did this?"
Yeah, we bring them back. We sober them up with our songs
That's a great time. Everybody loves that moment.
before you got to drive home. Like, listen to this.
So
Getting our closest friends into their most impressionable state of mind.
they're most vulnerable, and then you attack.
Yeah, it's after hours of just kind of like, just really heavy conversation, like dissecting each other's childhoods, and then we, then you put it on.
It sounds like some MK Ultra shit.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned Vivian McCall, who is a bandmate with you in your other band, Jungle Green. What
Yeah.
is how do you guys manage your time between Gold Star, and Jungle Green? Because I listen to Jungle Green as well. I'm like, this is really sick, and it's interesting that you guys have 7 members in a band. That typically seems to be a little bit more than normal. But I would think that gives you a lot of room to create in a separate project, as well as gain inspiration from your fellow bandmates.
Yeah, you kind of said it all right there. That's, exactly how I see it, because there's such different forms of uh like drawing from creative wells, and kind of like when you get a lot of them in like harmony and tandem, they kind of, they do replenish each other, because there's such different forms of being creative, like with Jungle Green, like working collaboratively, like focusing on one small part and thinking about like a lot, making a live show interesting, and then having like Gold Star, which is just one-on-one collaboration and like kind of more of a studio thing, and then you have like your own personal music that you have writing on your own. So it's actually like pretty easy to juggle them, because they all fit very specific purposes, and replenish each other and inspire each other. You're not like drawing from the same well for any of the projects, for me.
Couldn't say it any better than that.
Mic drop. There you go. But don't hurt the mic.
Yeah.
No, that I think that's so true. It's so important and helpful to have a community of people around you who you can fall back on to be inspired by and to help you out with your music. That's cool that Jungle Green seems to be just one version of that for you. And I read that you guys worked with Jonathan Rado from Foxygen he produced one of your albums. Did you get any learning lessons from him? I mean, I know he's such a really great producer. I would imagine that working with him would probably teach you a thing or two.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like extremely eye-opening and extremely eye-opening experience. And I mean, we started working on the record, on the Gold Star record, just like a couple months after we got back from recording with Rado in LA. And so I think after that, we were all just feeling like super inspired and just really excited about making music after that experience. And I mean, if I was gonna, just mention like a lesson or two, it's just like, Rado's just like super laid back and recording, and is very like happy to just kind of let you know just spontaneous things just happen in the moment, just put everyone on an instrument, you know, and it's just like, all right, whatever happens, happens. You just kind of trust each other and your instinct. And then, you know, yeah, there was just like a lot of really cool stuff where it's kind of like, yeah, you just make decisions in the moment that kind of like dictate where the rest of the song is going to go. And you just roll with it. Cause that's kind of like what the song is it's just like what you just managed to capture like in that day. And that's like a really freeing like thing to think about rather than just like thinking so hard about something and like, you know, trying to come up with like a really grand vision for what kind of song you want to make. You know, it's just like just kind of, yeah, whatever you're influenced by in that moment, you know, just like whatever weird stuff you happen to stumble upon like while you're recording, like those are the things that just kind of like make the song.
Yeah, that seems to be the magic in it, you know, when the stuff that you didn't plan comes out and ends up being some of your favorite moments in this song.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you get a lot of that with working with tape as well, just because stuff messes up all the time. And, you know, just a lot of stuff is just out of your control. And, but you just find, you know, you roll with it. And that's kind of just the nature of recording that way.
Yeah, it seems to remind me of film. I just did a photo shoot recently and did most of it in film, and it's just like it was a specific thing we wanted for film, and it just sucked. Like you can't go back and check to see if you did something. Like if you were right, it you know you can't adjust. You just have to guess and hope that it's cool. And then when you get them back from the lab, there
You're
might
like,
be
damn, I look good.
yeah, you're like, oh shit, okay. And there's like there might be little scratches or little whatever, and you end up that be you know that's part of the artwork itself, you know.
Definitely. Yeah. That's what I like. And I like that whenever you're listening to old recordings and even in like old Beatles stuff, it's like you just hear like where they'll like not sing the same word at like a certain time or you know, you hear imperfections like even in that music, you know, which you would like expect to just be like, you know, super pristine, but it's not. And like those are kind of just like the fun things that you can get into, like the deeper you get into a record.
Yeah, what's that one song on Rubber Soul that like is actually like so fucked when you listen to it? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's one
And I
of
know what
the.
you're talking about,
It's
but I
a
don't
Paul
know.
one. It's a later one. Yeah, wait, pull it
I
up.
got it right here, so let me just pull it down.
You think an Andrew can sing?
It's on the B side. With
The B
like,
side.
the tambourine is like really fucked up.
Is it I'm looking through you?
Uh, yeah.
Okay.
Listen to it sometime with headphones. Like, make sure you hear like the stereo mix, so it's more
Yeah.
naked. And like, there's so much shit that just is fucked that
Huh.
makes no sense.
Get really vulnerable, like get
Yeah.
yourself in a really vulnerable
Yeah.
headspace, and then put that on.
See like a Freudian analyst before, and then listen to it.
Just like measure my cognitive dissonance before and after
Yeah.
listening to it. You're like, the Beatles are a lie. This sounds awful. Just kidding. I love
Yeah.
the Beatles. But yeah, definitely going to have to listen to that probably after we're done with this interview because I'm like very curious.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, that's going to take us over to the last 5 where I'm just going to ask you 5 quick questions and we'll be done.
Cool.
Let's do
Got
it.
5 answers.
All right. I like it. Number 1 is in the studio or playing live?
Oh, that's a really hard question.
Um,
I mean,
I would say almost neither. I like the process of writing more than recording or
You're the
performing.
first person to say that. Wow. That's cool.
yeah, I was gonna say that too. I was
Yeah, but now you're number 2.
Right.
Um,
That's a good answer. That's interesting.
yeah, no, I mean, I think they're both just like great. You know, they're equally good experiences, but just serve very different purposes. You know, it's like, yeah, I don't know. But
That's your answer? I don't know.
look, it's like when Adam's laying down answers like that, it's like I can't follow that.
How do you
know?
follow that up, man?
You know.
Yeah,
I'm not playing these games.
Yeah, you weren't
either.
kidding. You really do have an answer. But no, you're not the first person to say I don't know either, because there's been a lot of people who are just like both, or I literally can't pick. Because you're right, they are flip sides of the same coin. I personally prefer studio just because one, it's kind of comfortable in a way. I can be by myself and do it.
Get the lava lamp going.
Yeah, get the lava lamps going, some incense, and then you can the potential energy is crazy. You could create something that is your new favorite song today, and like 5 minutes ago it didn't exist.
Totally. Yeah, it's a really exciting feeling for sure, But then live, it's like just it's just like a lot of really cool stuff, unexpected stuff can happen there too, that's just like really exciting and, you know, kind of fulfills you in the same way, So
See, but I'm thinking about just looking at like an empty page. Like that's when I get hella stoked.
And you get the
Being
goosebumps.
serious.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like.
Dude, I feel you.
So how do you know that, like, how do you know when you're gonna keep going with the song that you're writing, as opposed to one that you're like, I'm not feeling this after 5 minutes, I'm gonna throw it away? What's that feeling you get when you know, oh, okay, this is a new song that I'm gonna spend a lot of energy and care into?
It's it's as simple as when you know, and then if you don't have that like lightning in a bottle feeling about it, then you hold on to like the scraps, and then maybe you have like a little chord progression that you enjoyed out of it using for spare parts later. So like even the uninspired moments, are you know throw them in the corner, but you know they're they're useful. But when you know that something's going to be like the bulk of something, it that's the feeling that I enjoy more than being in the studio or playing live. It's just that moment of inspiration, just first playing something and feeling like it like in your body, and then just like writing it down is the best.
Yeah, that's very cool feeling. It's like a magic, truly. Well, question number 2 is, what is a perfect album front to back?
Look, I mean, I'll say it.
Introducing Gold Star. Gold Star.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, Pet Sounds is like pretty amazing, I mean, we all know that, but I mean, that's a good one. Um, it's a tough question, It's a tough question.
It is, and you can name a few. You don't have to
Yeah.
name just one.
Yeah.
I'd say "Just Another Diamond Day" by Vashti Bunyan is. There's not a bad song on there.
I don't know that at all. What's the guy? What's his name?
Oh, her name is Vashti Bunyan.
Oh, it's a girl. Vashni?
Vashti.
Vashti Bunyan. You'll have to send me a link after this.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
I'll link it. It's a great album.
Super
not
good.
a bad song.
Super
Not a bad song.
Older, like 60s, 70s?
Yeah, it was 68 or 69, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
That, and also a perfect album all the way through is "A Certain Smile, A Certain Sadness" by Astrid Gilberto.
Don't know that one either. You're giving me some good ones to check out.
Yeah, the best bossa nova record of all time.
Oh, okay. Bossa
Every
Nova.
song, every melody is perfect. Perfect album for me.
Nice. Great answers. I don't know if it's technically bossa nova, but a previous On That Note guest, Good Fight, he told me about João Bosco. Do you know João Bosco?
No,
He has an album called Comissão de Frente, and I don't know if this is gonna be even similar to what you're recommending me, but I would recommend it to you just if you like melodies and like Latin grooves. This is the shit. It's awesome.
Nice.
And it
That's
came
cool.
out in like 78.
We're big fans of the Serge Gainsbourg and Jane Birkin record also,
perfect album.
Which I can't even think of the name of it.
It's just I think it's just called Serge Gainsbourg and Jane Birkin.
Yeah, that
every song on there is perfect.
Yeah, that record's awesome.
My favorite is Elisa, the like French like carnival song.
Oh yeah, that song's crazy.
That sounds awesome.
Many literal bells and whistles and stuff.
But yeah, but definitely a perfect album.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice. So you gave me a good 3 or 4 to listen to after this. Thank
Nice.
you.
Yeah, thanks for the João Bosco. Right?
Yeah, prepare for the best night of your life.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'll just grab a few beers, light up a joint,
Yeah,
and then get vulnerable.
yeah. That's what we like to hear.
That's what's up.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine a better way for this interview to go than to get you in that mindset.
I'm ready. Question number 3 is, who's your dream artist or producer to work with?
Well,
Well, I would say I'm gonna have to go with uh let's go Claude Debussy. Collab with him.
Claude Debussy. I don't know him.
You know Claire de Lune?
Yeah. Oh, is that him?
yeah.
There you go. What about you, Adam?
Hmm. Yeah, it's a big question. Um, and yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I really like just as far as modern musicians go, I mean, I really like Sonic Boom a lot, from Spaceman 3, and he produced Beach House's 7 record, which
Did he
is really
really?
yeah, yeah, and he also did Congratulations, like the MGMT record, which are
Okay.
just some of the cooler, like, I don't know, I think that's some of the cooler, like, modern uh modern producers that's around right now, and also just love Spaceman 3 as well, so he's highly respected in my book.
I didn't know he produced that Beach House album. I'm a big Beach House fan, and that one in particular, I think is great. I don't want to say it doesn't get its shine because I think it does, but I don't know. To me, I think that's like a really, really great Beach House record.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a big reason why it's so good, and stands out so
That
much.
Sonic Boom.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's got that sonic boom.
It sure does.
It's got that boom chicka pow.
So question number 4 is, what's on your musical rotation right now?
I've been listening to the Leonard Cohen record, Death of a Ladies Man. That's like the Phil Spector produced Leonard Cohen record.
I've never listened to
Um,
Leonard Cohen.
I'm honestly not a big Cohen head either, but like, I know, like, his, that one more popular folky record he has, but this one that Phil Spector produced is pretty far out. And then also just been listening to Benjamin Britten's Simple Symphony as well. Those have been going back and forth between those two this week.
Nice.
Uh Myself, like in terms of like more pop stuff, I've only really been listening to one song that I'll just repeat a lot, and that's Temporary Like Achilles off Blonde on Blonde. That song is, I don't know how somehow, like on Blonde you'll just like miss so many, every single time you go through, but I probably listened to that song like 40 times in the past week. Just whenever I put headphones on to go for a walk, it's just that song. Just the vibe is insane. And it's a hilarious song too. The lyrics are so funny. There's like a line. There's like a line where he's like, "I'm trying to read your poetry, but I'm helpless like a rich man's child." It's like it's so funny.
And this is Bob Dylan, right? I'm not crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe this is gonna piss people off, but I just haven't gotten into the Bob Dylan rabbit hole. Like, I think,
Yeah.
of course, the hits are good, but I haven't listened to all of Blonde on Blonde. I couldn't name one song, but that
It
is,
is like,
There comes a time in every man's
yeah.
life it'll happen.
I
Yeah,
know, I'm waiting.
it is the
Don't
kind
let
of
anyone
thing.
push you there, though. Let it happen.
You just gotta be
Yeah.
vulnerable and ready for it to happen.
Right. I mean, that's the thing, is like, yeah, you can hear the songs so many times and like know that they're good, but it's just like, every now and then it hits you, and you just have a huge phase with one of his records, or even just one of his songs. Um, but yeah, I mean, one day it'll come for you, and you're gonna like it.
It'll come for me in my sleep. I'm
Yeah.
waiting.
start reaping what you sow now. 'Cause it's coming.
Yeah, because
The day
it's
of
all
reckoning will
downhill
come.
from there. So the last question might as well harken back to what we were just talking about. What would you say is your favorite Bob Dylan project or record or anything that
Oh
I should
shit.
check out?
Oh,
Oh boy.
something that you should check out,
Yeah,
like a
because
place to start.
I haven't really listened to any of it. So what would be like, all right, this is where you should start?
It's textbook, but it's Highway 61. You know.
Yeah. Also, bringing it all back home is really good as well. Those were kind of like, yeah, Highway 61 and bringing it all back home. Those were the records that got me really into Bob Dylan. It's just
So
like, look, you put it on. You're not gonna like all the tracks, but you'll probably hear at least one or two that you think is really sick, and you just listen to them over and over again, and then you've broken through that wall.
there's just like
And
there's just like nothing that compares to it. It's just like you feel like you just took a bunch of amphetamine and you're like trying to dream up some like gambler's schemes while this like really ramshackle band is like cruising along these songs, and just like yeah, just the production on those records are just like completely unparalleled, and they just create just like the most insane vibe. Then with like hilarious like lyrics that are just like a riot over them, and then sometimes really beautiful, and
yeah,
um
yeah.
it's great.
I would also say, if you're looking for entryways, it's like Queen Jane, approximately, super sick. That's a great one.
Just like Tom Thumb's Blues.
Yeah, and then like Positively Fourth Street.
Are these songs or album?
Songs.
Okay. Cool.
And you'll find them. But yeah, give it a listen. I hope it hooks you. And if it doesn't now, it will later.
Yeah, I'm sure at least one or two songs will. I mean, especially if I listen to a classic album like Highway 61, there's going to be something in there for me that I'll probably come back to. And
Totally.
you guys may have just started me on my Bob Dylan journey. Who knows?
That's what I like to
That'd be
hear.
great.
Yeah, I appreciate the recommendations. I appreciate you coming on this show and talking about your creative process behind your debut album, Introducing Gold Star, which came out in August. It's out on all streaming platforms. Everybody needs to go listen to it. That's going to wrap up our time here on that note. Adam from Gold Star. Thank you again for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Dude, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Really
It was
appreciate
good. It was fun. Peace and love to you.
Many blessings.
Many blessings. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Take care, man.
Peace. Bye.
Yeah, you can tell me what it is, girl.
Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.